everyone? Everybody, how's everyone doing today? Hope everyone's doing great. Um, I just want to start this off with thanking everyone. Um, I want to thank Marquis Ward for taking time out of his busy schedule for being here. And I'd also thank the Boston Public Library and Gregor Smart for really being helpful with helping me set this place up. Um, I'm really excited about today. Today, we're calling it Trailblazing Talks, Empowering Creatives and Industry Pros. The point of this is really to spotlight people who have contributed to our culture, and maybe we can learn something and ask some questions. And so I want to start off with highlighting Marquis Ward. So Marquis Ward is an Atlanta native and founder of Marquis Ward Beauty. Growing up, Marquis was very fluid in his creativity and artistry. His passion for music and fashion eventually led him into makeup artistry. Marquis' commitment to mastering his craft has given him opportunities in television, film, commercial, and print. Now, among others, he is considered a style and beauty innovator. He has developed a niche and specific to his own creativity. Marquis' simplistic style excludes an edginess that speaks through each of his clients. So just to mention a few, if you don't mind me humble bragging a little bit, his credit list, Laverne Cox, Novi Brown, Cheryl Ralph, Raven Goodwin, Kiki Palmer, and that's just to name a few. That's just to name a few. I definitely want to open up the floor to you, Marquise. Yeah, just tell us about your background, what it was like growing up, your passion and creativity.
Oh, wow. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm super, super, super grateful and super excited that I get to tell a little bit about myself and share my story with you all. Growing up, like John said, I was into music initially. So when I was 5 years old, I came home from school. I had a friend in the kindergarten who her name was Jasmine Seaborn. I remember this like it was yesterday. She was blind and she would sing all the time. And I asked her, I said, Jasmine, could you teach me this song? She said, sure, sure. And she taught it to me. I went home. I sang it for my mom, and she said, okay, let's go to church. And so we went to church, sang it for the director, and every Sunday they would have me sing this song, His Eyes on the Girl, every Sunday. And I'm like, okay, I'm tired. I'm about tired of this. So we got to figure something else out. But my grandfather was a musician. He was in a group with James Brown um, back in the 60s. So I think that's where that came from. And after music, I went through, I was music driven my entire childhood until it was time for me to graduate from high school. And upon graduating from high school, I told myself like I wanted to do something new, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I auditioned for about 12 colleges. I got into all of them except for one that I really wanted to get in. They lost my application for Morehouse. And I'm like, oh, wow, they lost my application. They wanted me to reapply. I had already got into the music school, but they wanted me to reapply for college. And I'm like, okay, God, what are you trying to tell me? Should I be moving in a different direction? I don't know what I should do. And for about 2 months, I sat at home waiting on an acceptance letter from Morehouse College, and I had not received one. I got a phone call from a arts college in Georgia, in Atlanta, and they said, "Hey, we come to see you every year. I put on a fashion show at my high school. They said we come to see the show every year. We want to offer you admission to our school. You need to apply, but we want to offer you admission to the school." And I said, "You know what? Maybe God is trying to tell me something. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go in this direction." I got into the school, and my first day of school is when I received my acceptance letter to Morehouse College. So I was like, okay, what do I do now? Because I went through FAFSA, I went through all financial aid. At this point, I cannot, retract. So I'm going to have to go through with fashion school. I'm gonna have to go through this. So I'm like, okay, God, I'm listening to you and I'm trusting you. You just guide me and tell me what I need to do. So I went through fashion school, um, and I was top of my class. I graduated. I did a 2 year school, and then I went to SCAD after. SCAD is where I received my master's, and I was still trying to figure things out. I ended up becoming a pageant director for a pageant, and the actual pageant, the owner of the pageant realized that I could do makeup, and she said, "Okay." But this is a funny story as well. So initially, I was styling, and I was on set of a shoot with Derek Blanks, and I don't know if you guys know Derek Blanks. He shoots everybody. He shoots for Essence magazine. This is a big opportunity for me, and the makeup artist did not show up. And he's like, "Well, you're in school for fashion. You can draw. You know how to do all these things. Have makeup in the room. Would you want? Do you want to give it a shot?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay. You know what? I don't turn down the challenge. Let's make it do what it do." So I did it. I absolutely fell in love with it. And I said, you know what, maybe I should utilize this part of my gift. And I went home and told my mom, look at this now. It was not the best makeup. It was not good at all. But back then I'm like, okay, it looked pretty good for the time. But looking back at it, I'm like, this was not good. It was bad. But I gave it a shot, and I told myself, you know what? Maybe I should hone in on this because God has moved me in so many different directions. So maybe this is where I should be. And literally, I got another opportunity with the pageant, and I was shooting with Derek again. And we got the cover of the magazine this time. And I said, you know what? I think I found my niche, and I think this is what I should be doing. And so that's how makeup kind of fell in my lap. So initially, I was a musician. I played the harp. I don't know if you guys saw me, but I posted a picture of me playing the harp at 11 years old. I started playing the harp. So music is in my blood, but I just felt like I was living for everyone else but myself. I'm doing what everybody else wants me to do. My teacher thought I was going to be this big opera singer because I was an opera vocalist in school. She thought I was going to go out to Italy and Milan and do these big things. But God said, you know what? I'm going to sit him here. He has other plans. So that's that. That's how I got into makeup. I got into makeup because it was literally sat in my lap. It was literally sat in my lap. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take this by the reins, and I'm going to develop my craft, and I'm going to make this a career. And that's what happened. I trusted in God, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do whatever it is I have to do to get to where I have to be. And I'm here, I'm here. And so I'm extremely blessed to be here.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I had
It's a
no
funny
idea that
story.
you would play the harp. I did see that photo actually, and I was blown away. I was like, what? Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so um let's talk about the makeup industry. Let's segue into that. So what's been your like the biggest changes you've seen over the years, like especially for like up and coming makeup artists from diverse backgrounds?
Oh, wow. I'm self-taught, but what I feel like now, I feel like the industry now is a bit easier to break into. That's the biggest change I see. I think social media has made it easy, whereas for me, I'm 34, and coming up, social media, we were into like MySpace and Black Planet and all that stuff. We didn't care about we wanted to have fun. It was about us having fun. But these kids now have really made this a business. So I feel like I'm having to play catch up. Like, okay, well, maybe if I would have did this, maybe I should. I always question myself, like maybe I shouldn't have went to school, or maybe I should have majored in something else. Maybe I should have, majored in something else. But we did not know that the world or the internet or social media was going to transition into what it is now. So I feel like the biggest change has been social media and younger kids being able to literally become overnight celebrities. Overnight, literally, I've watched some of my students like come take a class with me, and then I always tell people to invest in yourself, but they've taken the class with me, and now some of them are doing some of the biggest musicians, just by posting on social media. And I don't like to post myself. I don't like to post what I'm doing because in my mind, I'm like, you know what? I'm here to work. That's what I want to do. But I also now realize that a lot of people want to connect with me and get to know who I am. So that's something that I'm kind of getting used to. Like, okay, well, let me tell people about my story. Let me tell people about who I am, because a lot of people have watched me transition from these three sectors of the creative that I've been in my life. So maybe I should let them in a little bit more and let them know how I got to this place, or who rather, because it's not how, it's who. It's who you utilize in your life to get to where you want to be. A lot of people feel like it's how. No, it's not the how, it's the who. It's people that have been in my life that have put me in position to get to where I am. But social media definitely,
That's really
definitely has been the biggest change as it pertains to any creative industry.
so. With that being said, you saying it's based on who, like, what would you like give like advice to like emerging makeup artists that are out there, no matter where they are? Like, how would you give them advice to break into film and television and print? Would it just social media, or like how would they utilize that?
Well, for me it was a little different. So I didn't have, and that's why I try my best to um, have mentees and be a mentor of some sort, because when I was coming up in the industry, I had no one to open their arms, open themselves to me and say, hey, because they see me as a threat. They was like, you know what, this guy is awesome. I don't want to mentor him because he's coming in. Still to this day, it's older artists that, that are kind of scared of us younger artists, because like I said, we're not here to take your jobs. Are our icons. We're here to learn. We've learned from you guys. So I'm under your tutelage. You know what I mean? So I mean, I try my best to. If anybody comes to me and say, "Hey, can you be my mentor?" I'm like, "Sure," because I didn't have that growing up, and that's when I opened my studio in Atlanta. I opened the studio 4.5 years ago, and it was literally to create a community. A community, so these kids could learn and find their who's, find the people, and make these connections with different people, so they could get to and can get to wherever they feel like they want to be.
I really relate to what you said about just information, very similar background, even me learning audio visual. There wasn't a lot of older folks that I could really lean on without a hefty price or me having to qualify for something. So very, very admirable that you have that open door for people to be able to be mentored by you. That's really awesome. Um, I wanted to get into, because we're moving through this interview pretty smoothly. I want to get into your creativity and techniques. Focuses more on that. So, your style is described as edgy yet simple. How do you develop and maintain such a distinct style while evolving with industry trends?
Oh, so
Hmm.
following trends is something that I try not to do, because trends are just that. They're trends. They're here today and they're gone tomorrow. So I feel like in teaching myself, because again, I didn't have a mentor until I was well into my career. Um, and I told myself, I said, you know what, I want to separate myself, because it's a lot of, at the time I was a small fish in a huge pond, coming into the industry, because it was something that I was new to makeup. So I said, I have to figure out what it is I can do to separate myself. And, initially everyone sees the trends and they want to follow those trends. But I said, you know what? These trends initially are going to fade. So how do I make a name and become a staple of my own? And a lot of people say, this is not out of my mouth, this is out of everyone else's mouth, is that I've been able to make the Black woman look and feel amazing and still look like herself. And makeup for me isn't about transformation, it's about enhancement. And it's about enhancing someone's natural beauty. It's not about making them look like somebody else. And a lot of times I feel like when people go into anything, but makeup mainly, because that's what we're speaking about, it's like, well, I want to do this and I want to make this person look totally different. I don't want someone to ever look in the mirror and not feel like themselves. I want them to be able to say, you know what, I feel empowered after you did my makeup. I feel like I feel like myself just a little bit, just elevated a little bit. Now I feel like once you find those little nuances to kind of make kind of stand out, because I've been able to find those nuances to say, what people can look at my work now and say, hey, we know Marquis did that. They say, you know how to burn a forehead. Not literally, but bronzing techniques, that's one of my favorite things. And I see Mariah on here. She actually just took my class. So hi baby, how are you? Bronzing is my thing. I love bronzer. I love warmth. I love bringing out the warmth in someone's complexion. That's one of my favorite things. Bronzing, and eyebrows. I feel like eyebrows is something that I kind of started, especially in Atlanta, because no one was doing the fluffy brow. I kind of took that and ran with it. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. This is how I want people to identify that this is my work. I'm gonna always, no matter what I do a fluffy brow. And that's how I was able to stand out amongst other artists in my city.
So you said something that really stood out to me. You was talking about trying to keep like enhance without transforming.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that so important? If you don't mind, open that up a bit for people that may not know.
So for me, I have a friend. I'm gonna give you guys a scenario. I have a friend um, who did makeup. She worked with me at Mac, and she always would tell me like, "Oh, you do a beautiful job. I want to be able to make people look like you. Like I want your technique." But I always tell people, take what I teach you and make it your own. Make it your signature. But I say all that to say, I had a makeup session with her, and when she looked in the mirror, she started crying. And I was thoroughly confused because I thought I had did something wrong. And she said, no. She said, I feel like myself. I feel extremely beautiful. The main thing for me is it's a confidence thing for me. If someone ever comes to me and say that they're not the most confident, I want to be able to empower them and make them feel that like make them be their best self, feel their best self. So that's the main thing for me is like taking. It's not about like reconstructing it. I feel like a lot of times when doing makeup, a lot of people have it's a lot of false narratives and it's a lot of things. People say, well, I want to do this and I want a smaller nose or I want a smaller forehead, and it's a lot of it's a lot of techniques, and it takes a lot of time to be able to perfect those type of things. But at the same time, you still want that person to feel like themselves. So making someone feel empowered and feel beautiful, whether male or female, after they leave your chair, my chair, or any other makeup artist's chair in the chat or in the room, you want to make people feel empowered. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the main thing for me. Is like beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? And that's the thing. But I feel like I am the beholder. When I say I mean you. So however you want, whoever you want to be and who you choose to be, when you get up out of the chair, I want to make sure that you feel like that person when I get done.
I love that. So like speaking on that, what would you say would be the top three makeup styles or techniques that every makeup artist should know? Like,
Top three.
mhm.
Um, hmm. So makeup, no makeup is one, and that's a skill within itself. And a lot of people feel like because it's not a lot of makeup that it shouldn't take as long, but it actually takes me the longest to do a makeup no makeup look. So it's applying the makeup, and when I get done, it's not looking like someone has on makeup. Novi, for example, I don't know if you guys know Novi Brown. She's one of my clients, and she's on Tyler Perry Sisters. But Novi is one of those women where she's in her natural era right now. When we first started, she wanted me to do all this crazy eyeliner and all this color, but now she's like, I just want to look like myself. And initially, the first time I did it, it took me maybe 90 minutes, and I'm like, this is taking entirely too long to do something this simple. But it's like it it's a certain finesse that you have to have when doing makeup, no makeup. Another one is my ultimate favorite is soft glam. That's just maybe five notches up from makeup no makeup. It is just adding that element of finesse. Like it's like chef kiss. It's like giving someone just enough, for it to look like makeup, but them to still feel like themselves and still feel beautiful. Um, and another technique is not really a technique. It's something that you need when doing makeup is basically skincare. The base to a perfect application is skin prep. Making sure that the client is prepped properly for whatever application you're getting ready to do. You want to make sure that you kind of hone in on that skin prep. A lot of times people feel like the people use makeup to cover certain things, and it's like you can put the makeup on, but if you're not taking the proper steps to moisturize and exfoliate and things of that nature, the makeup it's going to cover, but everything else is still going to push through.
That's fire. So I want to get into back into your business, your brand. So how did you establish Marquis Ward Beauty and grow it to where it is today?
Wow. So Marquis Ward Beauty was not something that it was not the name of my business at first. The name of my business was Marquis Laurent. Don't ask me how I came up with that name because I do not remember because it was so long ago. I used to be in a retro crew when I was in high school, and my friends gave me the name Laurent, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna run with it. And maybe for the first 5 years of my career, that's what I ran with. And I had a client one day. She just happened to randomly send me a text message, and she said, "I think that you should change your name to Marquis Ward Beauty. Keep in mind, Marquis is not my first name. Marquis is my middle name, and I wanted some, an alias of some sort. And I felt like Marquis, I could still sign a check and cash a check with Marquis because that's a part of my name. And at the time, I was not established as a business. So I had to use something where if I got a client and they use Marquis Ward, I could still go to the bank and cash a check because Marquis is still on my ID. So that's how that came about. Um, and eventually, Marquis Ward Beauty evolved into Expensive Skin, which is my cosmetic brand that started during COVID. That was the first $50,000 I made. Um, I made not working for someone. I made that out of my kitchen in my house because I make everything at home. And then Expensive Skin stuff turned into Expensive Skin Studios, which was a name that at the time my employees gave the studio that name. I was the trainer for Morphe in Atlanta, and I just so happened to talk to my employees one day, and I asked them like, if I started a creative space, would you guys be a part? And they said, of course we will be a part. So I set up all these meetings, and I had it was about 10 of them, and I had all 10 of them come look at spaces with me because I wanted them to be a part. And I was struggling with the name, and my employee, who is now my best friend, told me, hey, why don't you just name it Expensive Skin Studios? Anytime you touch a face, they look expensive. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but that's something that my dad told me before he passed. He passed in 2018. In our last conversation, he said, "You need to leave Atlanta." And I said, "Okay, and do what?" He said, I feel like you're outgrowing Atlanta." And he said, "I don't know, but every time I show people your makeup, they say that it looks expensive. So I feel like you should do expensive skin of some sort. That's what you should name. You should name your business Expensive Skin." And I'm like, you know what, Dad? You don't know nothing about makeup, but you might be onto something. And I ran with it, and it's kind of stuff.
That's a beautiful story, especially your father. You guys were very close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, God
Extremely
bless.
close.
I'm sorry for your loss. That's
Thank you.
amazing though. I want to let everybody know that in the last 5 minutes we're going to transfer to the other link. If you could see it below, I'm going to share it again. But I just want to make sure everybody gets the link before we head over there. But I'm really grateful for this conversation because to hear your story, I relate to a lot of the journey of just authenticity. It sounds like you really are focused on not just getting there, but how you get there and who you get there with. And so I'm really grateful just for how much you've shared. Like, because following you online, like mostly you see the work, and that's that's the main
That is
thing. You
it.
see, you see all your clients on your Instagram and everything, and when you go into these demos, and it really shows everyone like just the day in the life of what it's like to be you. It'd be cool if you dropped your Instagram in the chat too. Um, I think that'll be good for anybody that wants to follow Marquise on Instagram. That's how we met, and I was blown away by his work and still am. It's amazing, like to learn about these journeys because in Boston we have a lot of artists here, different forms, and we're in that celebratory. I would say Boston's in a celebratory phase, especially here at the Boston Public Library, the Central Library. They do it too. They do a lot of artist spotlighting. So if there's anybody who has questions now, this would be a good time for you guys to jump in. I don't know if you want to kick us off, Wigger Smart. That'd be cool.
Well, thank you, John. This is I just love these kind of talks where we're learning how somebody has kind of made their way and found a niche and has just found success. And congratulations. In the Boston Public Library, we have behind here you can see our space, and we're a resource for entrepreneurs, for job seekers, and we just have lots of people coming in who have a dream, who want to find how do they get to the next step up on that ladder. And I'm just curious, we have a lot of people who come in who, hey, I'm a great glass blower. I know how to, you know, create these food creations. What I don't know is how to run a business. What I don't know is, how, I don't know about taxes. I don't know all the business sides that is so important when yes, you're a wonderful artist, but you may not have had the background in, how to run a business or how to run a company. Did you utilize any resources to get you there that you found helpful, whether it was the Small Business Administration, maybe a Chamber of Commerce? Did you have any legal support? And how did you kind of navigate some of those questions that you just don't know what you don't know when you're starting a business? And I'm curious about that.
So the SBA was of great support to me. I spent a lot of time in my local office in Atlanta asking a lot of questions, but mostly it was the people around me. Once I received a mentor, I guess she literally guided me through each step, that I needed to be successful in my business. Because again, I didn't know anything about taxes. I didn't know anything about filing for my business, even establishing a business, And I just asked her. I was very inquisitive, and I asked her a lot of questions, because she was extremely established. And I would say, Danielle, can you please, guide me in the right direction, because I'm not sure which way to go. Because again, you can ask questions, you can go online, you can Google research, do as much research as possible, but it's always helpful for you to get answers from someone who has already done it and who has already been there. So my answer, to that is simple. I used to reach out to people. Like when I started in film, I didn't know how to get my first job, but I would go online and I would figure out who the department head was for my favorite show. and I would message them and say, hey, I absolutely adore your work. If you ever need any assistance, please feel free to reach out. And that way I started creating my own community. So, the biggest thing is asking questions and find those people that want to help you, because a lot of people say they will and they won't do it. But once you find those people that will help you, take advantage of that.
Great. I love that. People are afraid though, it's like, oh, nobody's going to talk to me, or but I think you're fearless, and that's a quality that I don't know, it's natural. It's easier for some people than others, but well done.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Does anyone else have any questions? Mariah, the beautiful, if you want to ask a few words, I know you already learned from Marquis.
I do have one question. Hello.
Hi.
And thank you for just sharing your testimony, and what you've been through and how you have, you know, gotten to this place to where you are, just fearless, and you don't care what anybody say, and you don't care about what anybody thinks, and you're not worried about what other people are doing. You just gonna do you. Like, I really do appreciate it. Hearing you say that is really building my confidence as a makeup artist. I've been doing makeup for quite some time, just locally, never had the opportunity to get big. And then again, I've never had that person who wanted and or was willing to mentor me because of a threat. You know what I'm saying? I'm very good at what I do. I just learn from watching people. I take what I learned from them, make it my own, like you said, like you suggested. And, people just think, oh, well, maybe she's just too good. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes when people, they can see your worth before you get to where you're, where you actually want to be, it's kind of like, okay, well, let me not go ahead and lead her along the way because I'm not ready for her to reach that top right there. I feel like sometimes people, they think that maybe you're going to be better than them, or you're going to make it, above them. But my question is for you is, how did you know what transpired in your mind when did you have that revelation that I can do this no matter what, to really like jumpstart your career and nothing was going to hold you back? Because I feel like the only thing that's holding me back is I worry about what other people think.
Got it. Okay. So I'm going to try not to get too emotional. But I think losing my father, that was a turning point for me. And that's when I said, you know what? He wouldn't want me to be scared or afraid because he was never scared or afraid. I grew up around a very fearless man. So I feel like losing him, for me, that's what put life in perspective. And I was like, wow, life is real. This is a real deal situation. And, trying to maneuver through that, it was not easy. And I had to pull myself out of a slump, and I had to tell myself, you know what, I can do this and I will do this. I don't have any other choice. And I'm going to tell you today that you can't worry about anybody depending on you because you have to depend on you first. That's the main thing. I had to tell myself, yes, my motivation is this, and I have so many people depending on me, but those same people that depend on me today could be gone tomorrow. So my biggest thing is, once you realize that you have to depend on you, the sky's the limit. The sky is the limit, I'm telling you. Once you realize that, hey, I have to do this for Mariah, I can't do this for anybody else, because that's how I had to do. I had to realize that I'm doing this for Marquis. I'm not doing it for anybody else, because if I fail, I want me to be the reason why I fail. I don't want to be able to blame it on anybody else. If I make a mistake, it's my mistake. So I have to be able to fix that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we have people holding our hands and saying, we're going to help you and we're going to be there. But again, those same people can turn that back on you tomorrow. And then you're left with you. So I want to leave this with you. You got to also believe, because we say we believe in ourselves, but a little part of us, when we're scared, a little part of us is, you know, is not believing in ourselves. And fear is not real. Fear is not real. Fear is not real. You can do anything you put your mind to. And I'm a testament to that because I never thought I would be in this space because it's not something that I never said, oh, I want to be a celebrity makeup artist. Because that's the first thing people ask me. How do you become a celebrity makeup artist? I can't answer that question. You know why? Because that's not something that I initially wanted to do. I wanted to do this because it's what fueled me. It's what made me happy. Everything else will come. So you got to believe in you first. Once you believe in you, everything else is obsolete.
I really appreciate it because, like you said, that little bit of fear is just a small piece. It's just me holding me back. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, Mariah, you believe, but you don't have faith. You don't trust the process. And then I look at other people. I look at even you, and I compare. And I'm like, well, Mariah, you got to work. You got to put in that hard work. You got to do it. And I'm not doing anything. So,
I always tell people, look, this is my biggest thing. I always tell people, ask yourself, if you haven't gotten to a specific place that you say you want to be in, ask yourself, have you done everything in your power to get to that place? Because if you haven't, then you're not gonna reach that goal. Like when I tell y'all I've reached before I moved to LA, I didn't know I left a city where I had became a big fish to move to another city where I was a shark in a sea full of other sharks. Because everybody here, this city will make or break you. And I told myself, I will not fail. I will not fail. But I was supposed to move here years ago. I was so terrified to be away from my family. And to start over, I had built a successful business in Atlanta. I had just purchased a home. And I had maybe been in my home for 3 years. And I'm like, I'm about to get up and leave a city where I've been my entire life, where I'm comfortable. But the biggest thing for me is, you know what? I think it's time for me to be uncomfortable because you've been uncomfortable. It's going to push you to higher heights. You're going to push you to that limit. Like being uncomfortable is a good thing. It's a great thing. It's a great thing. It feels weird at first, but it's like, you know what? I'm extremely uncomfortable, but I know if I don't do this, then I won't eat. Or if I don't do this, then my life's going to be turned off. If I don't do this, I can't feed my child. You know what I'm saying? So It's just like, I got to get this done. I got to do it for me. And I gotta realize that fear, like you said, it's a small little piece. And throw that small piece away. Throw it away and just go for it. Because the worst thing that someone can tell you is what? No.
And that's just next opportunity, period.
Exactly.
I love that. That's amazing. That was an amazing exchange. Barbara Ravenel, which is my mother, she's in here. I don't know if she has something to say or she's just listening, but I would give her a chance.
I'm here for support. I'm so inspired. I am just like, I'm in awe. I love this interview. I love the words. Speaking of being a Black woman coming up in the 60s, this gives me the chills. I am so happy to hear you speak and to see that you didn't let anything stop you. It doesn't matter where you are or who you are, but you just kept going. What? And then to encourage others, we need that. What? I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much.
I am so proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This is fantastic. I think you should be doing an interview again. This should be out. Like, we need this right now. I can go on and on, but we need this right now during these times. Even I work with young children. They are on the internet. Hello. And these children in the elementary, they're 5, this, even the 3-year-olds, all the way up to 7. To hear this, they need to hear this. It's not just older people. Everyone needs to hear this. And you just keep doing what you're doing. God is gonna just bring you to higher heights. There's
Thank
more to come.
you.
And
Thank
you're
you. I
gonna bless
appreciate it.
others. You're blessing others. What? Yeah, you should be smiling. You should be there. You are there. You
Thank
walk
you. I
right into it.
appreciate you so
And you
much.
inspire others to walk into. We need to hear that. And the kids need to hear that. They hear from their parents, but to hear it from a Black man on his perspective, come on. Come on. Take
I
your place.
appreciate that. I
Take your place.
appreciate that.
But I can go on and on, but thank you.
Thank you. I
And
appreciate it.
hopefully, someone's willing to do some makeup, because I never learned how to put on makeup. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe that could be our next. Maybe I
Yeah,
could do a demo for the next.
there you go. There you go. Hook up some eyebrows. Oh, yes, God. Okay, I'm
Do
done.
you, I have a question. Do you feel like you really need to get to know each of your clients? Are you like a therapist? Are you listening? Are you trying to get to their essence
Mm.
before you start uh, working on someone?
Wow. This is a very packed question with a very. I'm gonna have to give you the short version. The short version. Anybody in the beauty industry, anybody that services anyone, automatically becomes a therapist. That's just what we are. That is who we are. We don't ask to be that, but naturally, people feel comfortable when you're providing a service. Um, and sometimes you want to detach yourself, and it's really hard because I'm an empath. So anytime someone comes to me with any problems, I feel it. So, and I feel like um, a lot of beauty professionals are empaths, and we take on the energy from our clients, and they just feel comfortable. It becomes a safe space for them, like the nail shop, the hair salon, sitting in the makeup chair, the barber shop. Like naturally, that's a safe space for us to be able to share what we're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? So that's the first part. The second part, when you begin to elevate, you have to start protecting your peace because at some point it can be draining, you know. So you have to know how to kind of maneuver through that whole therapist thing, and with my celebrity clients, a lot of them I'm extremely close to. Shirley Ralph talks with her son. I'm with her 70% of the year. I was just with her yesterday for a long time. So, at some point, I've been with her for the last 2 years. I've been with Novi for about 5 years now. I've been with Raven for about 5 years. So they have become, Novi and Raven have become my sisters. So, but you have to know, some people are a little bit more open than others. Some clients will open up to you. Some are very much so, do my makeup. No, but when you connect with someone, it's different. So but you have to know how to use your discernment in these type of situations. Yes, you have to protect your peace. You have to. You have to because it can become extremely draining. I have a friend that literally he takes on everybody's energy. He takes it on when I was his boss. And anytime someone came to our store, he was ready to sit down and sit in my chair and I'm gonna do your makeup. And when he would get done, he would be so drained. He would be like, "Oh wow, I need to go outside. I need to take a break." Because I told him, I said, you're receiving a lot and you're giving a lot of yourself to people that you don't even know. You have to be careful. You have to be careful sometimes. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing, but we definitely become therapists. It's just naturally what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure self-care is just so important. I mean, you are doing that for people, but you need that
for
back
yourself.
for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Can I
Mental
ask you?
health, mental health for
Uh,
entrepreneurs. That is a huge thing. I just went to a retreat last week, and it was for beauty professionals, and it basically focused on mental health. And a lot of people don't understand like how the wear and tear on our mental, because it's like some months we might make this amount, and some months we might not make anything. You know what I'm saying? So it's an up and down industry. So that plays on our psyche a lot. Because it's looks like, I didn't make but $500 this month. Am I good enough? But last month I made 20,000. So I felt like I was on top of the world. So it plays on your psyche.
my other question was, do you find your makeup, with the current political climate, do you find your makeup style changes a bit? Like if it's maybe to reflect, protect. Is there a style that's protective or defensive? I guess I'm just wondering if your style can change with the mood of things.
Um,
No.
not necessarily with the social climate, but more so with the client's climate. So if my client decides to, that he or she wants to go in a different direction, then that's when the style kind of changes a bit. It's like, what, like I said, Novi, when I first started doing her, she wanted this whole, I want to look like this, and now she's in a space where she's like, what, I feel like I feel my best when I look this way. Can we start doing it like this? And I'm honestly the only person that she has do. She's very specific with me, and it's kind of annoying sometimes because she's extremely specific with me, but with everybody else, it's like they can have free will to do whatever they want. And I asked her, I'm like, how is that so? Like, that's not fair. She's like, because you're the only person I trust. I trust you to do this because I know that you can execute this. And with everybody else, I don't have the time, and they don't have the patience for me to be able for me to, for me to go in and say, I want this, and this. But we've been together for 5 years. You know how I am. You're so patient with me, and you understand me. So it's easier for me to talk to you about what I want to do.
I feel like with COVID, we were just kind of hunkered down for a couple of years, and then suddenly I was like, oh wait, I've got to see people again. I've got to, show my face again to the world. And I think we want to put our best face forward.
COVID in Atlanta it really was not COVID in Atlanta. Atlanta did not shut down like it should have. I feel like COVID was the year that I made 6 figures as an entrepreneur. That's when I seen my first 6 figures, and that's when I was like, you know what, I think I can do this. But people were having photo shoots left and right because that's the only thing they could do. So I was working, and people wanted to make me look like this person. I want to be this, I want to be that, because we didn't have anything else to do.
I like the question I got dropped into the chat, because that's actually a question for me too. How do you balance work life and personal life?
Woo!
Yep.
It's extremely difficult. And I'm going to say it becomes a little bit more difficult when you are an entrepreneur. Because I feel like as someone who has a 9-to-5, 9-to-5ers, and I was once a 9-to-5er, and I'm speaking from experience, I knew every 2 weeks what my check was going to be. So I could go out and do whatever it is I wanted to do, because I knew when that check came around, I was going to have that money again. And I feel like as an entrepreneur, we kind of tiptoe around things. And it's just like, again, like I expressed earlier, this month, I remember my first $50,000 month, and I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, I've never made this much money. When I look back at my bank statements, I said, Jesus Christ, how in the world did I do this? And then the next month, that month I'm like, I'm gonna party, I'm gonna have a good time. And the next month I made $500. And I'm like, okay, I'm in my head now because now I feel like I can't have a personal life because I have to work all the time because I have to steady be on the ground. Like, I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to make that amount of money because when you touch that amount of money, it's like it's possible, but it's like I want that all the time. So I feel like as entrepreneurs, it's really hard for us to balance, have a work life balance because we're constantly thinking about how we're going to make ends meet because it's so up and down. And as much as somebody can say, well, I don't think about that. Every entrepreneur that I've spoken to feels the exact same way. It's like I can't focus on life or my mental health or me personally because I don't know what next month is going to look like. So I have to be able to, as much personal as it gets, is you sitting down doing your books for your banking. That's as much personal time you're gonna get. Let me sit down and let me make sure that all my things are in order because I want to make sure that this is put away, that this is put away because I had a good month this month and next month might not be so good. So I want to make sure I have everything I need put aside to take care of next month if it's not so good. So it's really hard trying to balance, have a work-life balance. But I feel like I'm slowly getting to that space because I'm like, you know what, I need it. So I had to figure it out. I have to be able to say, hey, I need to take time out. Nobody tells me all the time. He said, you never go on vacation. You never sit down. You're always working. I'm naturally a worker bee. That's just naturally who I am. I have to be doing something. It's just me. And when I sit down, I feel like I'm not doing enough. But I've finally gotten to the place where I'm like, you know what? I need to sit down and I need to, take care of myself. I've just gotten to that place.
Respect that. I respect that. So, I just want to thank everybody for coming to this interview and sitting with me and Marquise as we talk about his life and his journey as a makeup artist. And I'm really grateful for you being here and sharing so much. And you got love from us, and we just want to continue to uplift you. And you got our support. You know that you got this. Obviously, you told it in your story, like you got yourself, but you got us too. And I wanted to make sure that I give you some time to talk about your upcoming projects or things that you want to put everybody else on. So you have the floor.
Really quickly, we have 5 minutes. I'm relaunching Expensive Skin, the brand. Initially, it was going to be April on my birthday next year, but I received a text message this morning from one of my mentees from Atlanta, and he still has one of his bottles and he was using it on set, and he said the people were going crazy. And I'm like, you know what? He's like, we need it now. I'm like, okay, I'll push it up. So I'm going to push it up to January. I have 3 films in the queue right now that I'm extremely excited about. I have 1 with Raven and I have 2 with Novi coming up really, really soon. And yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you again. And I look forward to doing more of these because yeah, I mean, I think there's a snapshot in this. There's so much we could talk about in 1 hour. But I feel like if anybody wants to follow you, we got can we put your Instagram in the chat again? If anyone that wants to follow Marquise, so we can keep up with your works, websites, links, any of that. So, if someone wants to be mentored by you, did he just visit your website and learn more?
Mariah can tell you that I respond to everyone on social media.
Okay.
I'm not I'm not that person. I will respond to anyone. I don't care who it is. So if anyone is looking for mentorship, please do not hesitate to reach out to me, and I will be there as much as I can be. I will be there.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Anyone else have any final words they want to say?
I have one last thing, and Marquise, I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you again because you're not lying when you say you will respond to anyone. Because I came across your page a couple years ago, and I'm like, okay, well, let me just message him because, of course, I have the same question everyone else has: how do you become a celebrity makeup artist? And you just gave me your background, and I was so surprised because I'm like, I have messaged so many people, and he is like the only one that replied to me. And I felt so grateful, so thankful, so appreciative. And so I knew right then you was the one, you down to earth, you real. So I
Mhm.
respect it. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're so welcome, babe.
And please make sure if you're ever in Boston to stop by our
Most
location here.
definitely. Most definitely. Most definitely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's a really nice space. You really like it. It's a very innovative center. They got all kind of media stuff, and even the room I'm in now is really great. So that's it for today. So thank you everyone. Be blessed, be well. I'm gonna send out the video soon of this, and I look forward to talking to you guys again. Have a blessed rest of your day.
Thank you all. Talk soon.
Bye. Blessings.
You're welcome, Mariah. Thank you for coming.